What are the common stigmas surrounding mental health?
I think the common stigmas are like, why are you so weak? Everybody is going through the same thing. Why can't you do the same? So, and it's always all in your mind. And I think it's quite frustrating to hear that.
I think there's a misconception that people that are successful or individuals who look like they have their life together will never encounter a mental condition.
I think some of the common stigmas that surround mental health is that people always think that others who have mental health conditions are always crazy or weird, or they just think that you're thinking too much. So those are some of the stigmas that I've heard and actually face myself.
How did the stigma affect you?
I think the stigma actually affected me quite a lot. When I was younger, right, I was barely emotional. I've never really showed any vulnerability. I have also never really confided into, with my friends to tell them I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling depressed, or whatsoever, because somehow in my head I had this idea that, if you show any emotions, you're being seen as weak.
I think the stigma affected me in a way that it made me feel that my feelings were invalid, because when people say that, you're just thinking too much, so that made me feel that I can't have a safe space to share. And then I just kept a lot of what I wanted to say to myself.
I actually went through one interview process, and there was this application form that I have to fill in. So, do you have any mental health condition? So I was thinking, should I indicate that I've got panic disorder with agoraphobia? So I think, then I realized that, okay, maybe I should be truthful. So I wrote it down, and when I got interviewed, the interviewer was like, oh, you noted that you have this condition, so what is it about? Can you share? So I proceed to share more, and then after that he started asking, oh, do your family have it? I said no. Then how come you have it? So he started to give me a very judgmental look, and I felt very uncomfortable throughout. And he asked like, oh, what would happen if you start to have panic attack? And then started to actually shift me to another job scope instead of the one that I applied for. So I felt really, really uncomfortable throughout.
What are the most hurtful or nasty comments your older brother has heard?
The most nasty comments was probably from his own family members. So my family members and I would say things like, hey, in Chinese, 做人家懒惰，这么哥哥现在这样懒了，生意没有去搞定。And I remember, I even till now I can clearly remember the change in his facial expression when I accused him of being lazy.
I would say it's actually from my family. When they knew about my condition, and I said that, I cannot travel through the highway, and then they started saying that it's all in your mind, why people can do it, you cannot, only you stress, man, everybody is being stressed as well, people go through tougher times than you, so why are you complaining? So I thought it was quite hurtful to come out from your loved ones, because they can't seem to understand what you are going through.
I think one of the nasty comments was that, as in there were quite a few, but other than you're overthinking, you're thinking too much, or why do you always care what people think about what you do? I think one thing that also hurt quite a lot was when they just said, stop it, Ken. They just completely told me to stop, which isn't something that is very easy to do. So
What is the one change you hope to see in society?
I really hope that people can start to be more empathetic and try to understand that people behave in a certain way because of some stuff that happened to them. I mean, it's really difficult because you do not know what people went through, and don't be too quick to judge, because you will never know how tough it was for this person to come to this point.
I hope people can know that it is okay to seek help. It's okay to share your problems, especially with your loved ones.
I hope society can actually realize that people with mental health conditions, they are actually going through something very difficult. So learn to respect that, and also don't just overgeneralize things, because they tend to use a lot of these terms about mental health conditions very loosely. So a lot of times people always say that I have OCD, even though it's just them needing to be neat. But people who actually faces OCD, or in this case it's obsessive compulsive disorder, they actually it's a lot more different than what people who just needs to be go through. So I think that in itself, I just don't want people to just use those terms about mental health conditions very loosely, because it just doesn't respect people with mental health conditions. And lastly, I feel that people should learn to let people, if you encounter someone who has a mental health condition, just learn to let them learn to validate their opinion, because don't turn them down, because that's the last thing that we honestly need.